Oh, buckle up, people, because the internet just cracked open a scandal hotter than a Kardashian meltdown on live TV. Forget Drake versus Kendrick. Forget Kanye's presidential campaign circus. This right here is the beef of the decade. Big. Meech, the legendary kingpin whose name echoes through hip-hop history like a church bell in hell, just went nuclear on none other than 50 Cent, and he didn't just clap back with some cryptic IG post. Nah, Meech took the stage, mic in hand, and straight up told the world, no BMF money for you, Curtis. Yeah, you heard that right. 50 Cent, the same guy who survived 9 bullets, roasted Ya Rule into a meme, and built an empire out of pure pettiness, just got his pockets checked by the man who inspired his entire hit TV franchise. This is like Tony Montana telling Netflix, nah bro, you don't get the rights. And the way it went down, pure chaos. Imagine watching your dad slap your favorite superhero in front of the whole block. That's the vibe. This beef makes the Real Housewives look like kindergarten tea parties. Stick around because the receipts are messier than a Love and Hip Hop reunion special. Alright, let's rewind the chaos clock because to understand how Big Meech just pulled the rug out from under 50 Cent, you've gotta know the twisted history behind this whole mess. This isn't just some petty, unfollowed on Instagram drama. No. This is the type of betrayal that makes Game of Thrones look like a family picnic for the uninitiated. Demetrius Big Meech Flannery isn't just another name in rap. Lyrics. He's the myth, the legend, the ghost in every trapper's bedtime story. Founder of the Black Mafia family, BMF Meech built an empire so flashy, so untouchable that the streets still whisper his name like it's Voldemort. Private jets, champagne waterfalls, and the kind of cash that made strip clubs run out of singles. This man was basically the Elon Musk of the drug game, but with way better fashion sense. Now, enter 50 Cent. Curtis, I'll roast my own grandma. For a paycheck, Jackson. The hustler dash turned dash rapper dash turned dash business dash mogul dash turned dash professional dash Instagram dash troll. This is the guy who took BMF's story and turned it into a hit TV franchise on STARZ, laughing all the way to the bank while Meech served time behind bars. The BMF show became a cultural phenomenon, a binge-worthy gangster saga that had fans eating popcorn like it was oxygen. But behind the scenes? Oh, the tea was brewing darker than Diddy's lawsuits, because here's the catch, 50 Cent may have the TV rights, the fame, the Hollywood clout, but Meech has the legacy. And in hip-hop, legacy trumps everything. It's like owning the Mona Lisa versus selling Mona Lisa t-shirts at the flea market. One prints cash, the other owns history. So when word leaked that 50 Cent might be pocketing stacks off BMF without properly breaking bread with the Flannery family, the streets started buzzing louder than Nicki Minaj's fanbase during a Twitter meltdown. Was 50 exploiting Meech's name? Was he Hollywood washing the blood, sweat, and tears of a real empire? Fans couldn't decide if they were watching a drama series or a live betrayal unfolding in real time. And then, boom. The live moment. The public execution of Curtis Jackson's pride. Big Meech finally speaking out after years of watching 50 play puppet master with his life story. Went on record and said the one thing 50 Cent can't stand to hear: no BMF money for you. Now let me paint this scene for you. Imagine Thanos snapping his fingers. But instead of dusting superheroes, he just erases 50 Cent's royalty checks. The audience went crazy. Twitter timelines exploded like they'd been sprinkled with C4. Memes of 50 Cent crying in the club flooded the internet. Someone even edited 50's iconic Many Men video so that the bullets spelling out death got replaced with nitrogen monoxide BMF money. Savage doesn't even cover it, but here's where it gets juicier. See, this wasn't just about money. Oh no, this was about respect. For Meech, watching 50 profit off his empire without proper credit was like watching someone wear fake Gucci to the Met Gala, tacky, embarrassing, and a little insulting. Meech had been quiet for years, letting Hollywood glamorize his life while his son Lil Meech stepped into the spotlight as the star of the show. But apparently, enough was enough. And for 50, this cut deeper than a diss track from the game. Curtis Jackson built his brand on being untouchable, the man no one could out-hustle, out-clown, or outshine. But suddenly, he was being called out by the very man whose name kept his TV empire running. That's like Dr. Dre waking up one morning and telling Eminem, "Hey bro, you're not actually invited to the Aftermath reunion." Pure betrayal. Vibes. The reactions? Insane. Celebs started subtweeting, influencers went live, and the fans, they turned it into a digital coliseum. Some people sided with 50, calling him the genius who put BMF back in the mainstream spotlight. Others crowned Meech the king of checkmates, finally putting Curtis in his place. It was the hip-hop Hunger Games and everyone had their favorite tribute. One user tweeted, 50 Cent gotta be the only man who can lose a beef against someone in federal prison. Another wrote, Meech just unplugged 50 like he was a PlayStation. After bedtime. And my personal favorite? A meme of Meech holding Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet while 50 fades into the distance screaming, "But I'm the executive producer." But let's not pretend 50 took this lying down. If you know Curtis, you know he's the king of clapbacks. This is the man who once bought 200 Ya Rule concert tickets just so the seats would be empty. This is the man who turned Instagram beef into an art form. So when Meech threw that punch, you already knew 50 was brewing his revenge like a supervillain. In a Marvel post-credits scene, what we witnessed in that moment wasn't just a feud. It was the rebirth of an old school, gladiator-style hip-hop beef, only this time the battlefield was money, respect, and legacy. Forget diss tracks. This was about contracts, copyrights, and cold hard cash. And when those stakes hit the fan, everyone from TMZ to the local barbershop had something to say. So, as Meech's words echoed across the internet like a warning shot, fans realized this was only the beginning. The curtain had just been pulled back, and the tea about who really controls BMF's bag was boiling hotter than Megan Thee Stallion's summer playlist. And trust me, you're gonna want to hear what happened next, because the twist, the celebrity reactions, and the memes, they turned this beef into a circus that made the Super Bowl halftime show look like an open mic night at Applebee's. So picture this. Big Meech drops the verbal nuke. No BM money for you, Curtis. And suddenly the internet turns into a digital riot. It's like someone pulled the fire alarm at the Bet Awards. Everybody, and I mean everybody, had something to say. From rappers to reality stars to your aunt who still thinks Tupac is alive in Cuba, the reactions came flooding. And like it was Black Friday at Walmart. First up, the celebrities. You'd think folks would stay neutral, right? Wrong. This was the hip-hop version of a custody battle, and everyone picked a side. Rick Ross, oh, you knew Rose wasn't gonna miss this one, popped up on IG with that classic devilish grin. Sipping Belaire and typing, Curtis, you finally met your boss. Meech said nitrogen monoxide, lil boy. The comments section looked like a funeral home for 50's pride. Fans were dropping L's like confetti. Then you had Boosie chiming in with his usual Louisiana energy, basically yelling at his phone, ain't. No way 50 Cent thought he could eat off Meech forever. Meech gone check ya, dog. Of course, half the people watching didn't even understand what Boosie was saying. But the passion was clear. He was Team Meech. And just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, Ya Rule slid in with the sneak diss of the decade. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, Ya Rule, 50's eternal nemesis. The man whose career 50 turned into a running joke couldn't resist. He tweeted, funny how the empire always crumbles when it ain't built on respect. #BM, the internet went nuts. Imagine your high school bully finally getting clowned by the kid he used to stuff in lockers. That's what this moment felt like. But wait, it gets juicier. Because while rappers were throwing shade, Hollywood started weighing in too. Remember, BMF isn't just a street legend anymore. It's a franchise. Stars, the network airing 50's show, had execs sweating bullets. Rumors flew that Meech's public call out had execs dialing lawyers faster than Kris Jenner calls TMZ. Was the franchise in jeopardy? Could Meech actually pull the plug on 50's golden goose? Suddenly, the beef wasn't just gossip. It was business. Big, messy, multi-million-dollar business. Now let's talk about the memes. Because honestly, the memes deserve their own Netflix documentary. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. It was open season. One viral TikTok had Meech edited into the Lion King scene, holding up a stack of money instead of Simba, while 50 Cent screams from the canyon. But that's my show. Another fan photoshopped 50 Cent's face onto Squidward, watching Meech. And Lil Meech danced with bags of cash like SpongeBob and Patrick. Pure comedy gold, and the public outrage? Oh, it was messy. Some fans were furious, saying 50 Cent exploited Meech's legacy for TV clout. They compared him to Netflix making a Jeffrey Dahmer series, entertainment at the expense of real lives. Others defended 50, pointing out he kept the BMF name alive, made Lil Meech a star, and turned the story into mainstream history. It was the ultimate moral tug-of-war. Respect versus business, loyalty versus Hollywood. But here's where the twist hit. Right when everyone thought 50 Cent was down for the count, he pulled the most Curtis Jackson move imaginable. He weaponized Instagram. Oh yeah, within hours he was posting memes, subtweets, and shady captions. Like his life depended on it. My personal favorite? A photo of himself counting money with the caption, "Last time I checked, I still get paid. Y'all better fact check Meech." Savage, petty, peak 50. And of course, the internet ate it up. Because love him or hate him, 50 Cent is the undefeated troll champion. People were reposting his clapbacks like gospel. Suddenly, the beef became less about who was right and more about who was funnier. Welcome to 2025, where careers can be saved or buried in the comment section. But don't think Meech was just gonna let that slide. Word spread that Meech's camp fired back with subtle shots of their own. Whispers about how 50 really got the rights to the BMF story, whether the contracts were fair, and whether Hollywood had been eating while the streets starved. Fans started calling it the Great BMF Heist. Some even compared it to Suge Knight versus Dr. Dre, only with less blood and more contracts. And here's the kicker, Lil Meech, Meech's own son and the face of the TV show, got dragged into the mess. Imagine being stuck between your father, the legendary Kingpin, and 50 Cent, the executive producer who gave you your breakout role. That's like being the kid in a divorce where both parents are billionaires, and you're just trying to figure out who's paying for dinner. Lil Meech tried to play it cool, posting motivational quotes, and avoiding direct shots, but the fans weren't having it. They spammed his comments with, "Pick a side, bro," and "Whose bag are you securing?" Poor guy couldn't even post a gym selfie without someone dropping a free Meech. Not 50 #. Meanwhile, the chaos spread like wildfire. Talk shows, YouTube channels, and gossip blogs were milking the story harder than Kris Jenner milks a scandal. Headlines like "Big Meech versus 50 Cent, the money war Hollywood can't ignore," started dominating feeds. Even sports shows were cracking jokes. One ESPN commentator quipped, 50 Cent losing BMF money is like LeBron losing a finals. Shocking, but kind of expected. Brutal. And through it all, fans were glued to their screens waiting for the next bomb to drop. Would Meech expose contracts? Would 50 release receipts? Was stars going to cut ties or double down? It was reality TV inside a reality TV show. BMFCEPTION. Here's the wild part. While everyone laughed at the memes and roasted 50 Cent, some industry insiders whispered that Meech's statement might have teeth. That there were real conversations happening behind closed doors, real threats to the empire Curtis built on Meech's name. And if that was true, oh, we weren't just watching a beef. We were watching a power shift, because let's be honest, 50 Cent without BMF is like Batman without Gotham. Sure, he's still iconic, but the empire looks a lot less shiny. And Big Meech? Even from behind bars, the man still commands respect like a mafia don. One word from him, and the culture bends. By the end of the week, the internet wasn't just entertained, they were obsessed. TikTok creators were making daily updates like it was the OJ trial. Fans were arguing in barbershops. Grandmas were asking what a BMF even was. It had officially crossed over into mainstream chaos, but trust me, the storm hadn't even peaked yet. Because the aftermath of Meech's declaration? That's where things got ugly, reputations started cracking, and the real consequences of this beef came crashing down. And spoiler alert, 50 Cent's pride wasn't the only casualty. The dust was supposed to settle. Fans thought maybe, just maybe, Big Meech would make his statement. 50 Cent would troll a little and everyone would move on like it never happened. But nope, what we got instead was an aftermath so chaotic it made the Will Smith slap at the Oscars look like a church hug, because here's the truth. Words carry weight. And when Big Meech told the world, "No BMF money for you," it wasn't just shade. It was a declaration of war. Suddenly, Curtis Jackson's empire started looking like it was built on sand. Meetings got tense. STARZ execs were reportedly in panic mode. Insiders whispered that contracts might get reviewed, which is Hollywood speak for lawyers about to eat good. The ripple effect hit everywhere. For one, 50 Cent's reputation took a hit. Let's be real, his whole brand is built on being untouchable, the hustler who never gets played. But in the court of public opinion, Meech just handed him an L bigger than Ja Rule's career comeback attempt. People started clowning 50 not just online but in real life. DJs were slipping Meech audio into club sets. Talk show hosts were cracking jokes like 50 Cent just became 25 cents after Meech cut him off. Savage, and the fans weren't letting go. Every time 50 posted about his liquor brand, his shows, or even his gym workouts, the comments section turned into a battlefield. "Where's the BMF money, Curtis? Meech said you broke, brr. Stars gone, repossess your chain." It was relentless. For a man who built his image on trolling, getting trolled back on a global scale must have stung like lemon juice on a paper cut. But let's not act like Meech walked away spotless. Oh no, the controversy sparked some uncomfortable conversations about him too. People started asking, wait, why does Meech care now? Isn't he still locked up? How much power does he really have? Critics accused him of trying to stay relevant off his son's rising fame. Others claimed this was less about respect and more about control. Suddenly, Meech went from untouchable legend to polarizing figure, with some fans questioning whether he was the hero or the villain of this saga. And poor Lil Meech. He was caught dead center in the crossfire. On one hand, he owes 50 Cent for giving him the biggest break of his career. On the other, his father is literally the man the show is based on. Imagine trying to pick sides when both options can make or break your future. Fans dissected his every move, every caption, every outfit, looking for clues on where his loyalty lay. At one point, he liked one of 50's posts, and Twitter went into meltdown mode like he'd just endorsed World War III. Meanwhile, the industry vultures started circling. Rival networks, rival rappers, rival execs, everyone smelled blood. Suddenly, there were whispers of new documentaries, rival projects, even competing offers to tell the real BMF story. It was like Meech versus 50 had cracked open a vault of untapped drama that Hollywood couldn't resist. And here's where it got truly wild. Fans started speculating that this beef could spill over into other 50 Cent projects. Power? Ghost? Raising? Kanan? Would Meech's influence ripple into those franchises? Could 50 Cent's empire, the one he carefully built over the last decade, suddenly face its biggest threat, yet not from a rival rapper, but from the very man who inspired it all? Think about it. 50 Cent has feuded with Ja Rule, the game. Rick Ross, Floyd Mayweather, even his own son. But Meech? Meech isn't just another opponent. He's a cultural giant.
He's history.
And when history decides to clap back, even the loudest troll on Instagram has to think twice. By this point, the public perception was split. Some crowned Meech as the ultimate boss, a man who could silence Hollywood moguls with a single sentence. Others argued that 50 Cent, troll or not, had given BMF a platform no one else could. But one thing was undeniable. Their clash had reignited interest in the BMF brand more than any marketing campaign could have dreamed of. And the ripple effects. Oh, they're far from over, because this wasn't just a beef. This was a chess game. A battle for legacy. A war where money, respect, and cultural dominance were all on the line. And if you think Meech and 50 are about to let this slide quietly into the night, that's like thinking Kanye's gonna stop tweeting. Ain't happening. By the end. Of it all, fans weren't just watching, they were hooked. Waiting for the next IG post, the next cryptic quote, the next clapback. Because in the world of Meech versus 50 Cent, every day feels like the season finale of a show you can't stop. BINGEING. And there you have it. Folks, the big Meech versus 50 Cent saga that makes every other beef look like a kindergarten slap fight. Forget the Kardashians, forget love and hip-hop, forget even Kanye's rants. This is the drama of the decade. A kingpin versus a mogul, respect versus royalties, legacy versus Hollywood checks. And if you thought it ended here? Oh no, this is just the trailer. The full movie hasn't even started yet. Now. You already know how we do on this channel. We don't just give you the news, we give you the tea, the memes, and the nuclear fallout, all in one. So if you're living for this chaos, do yourself a favor. Smash that like button like it owes you money. Subscribe like your Wi-Fi bill depends on it, and drop a comment telling me whose side you're on, Team Meech or Team 50? And don't play neutral, because in this war, Switzerland don't exist. And hey, if you think this was wild, just wait. Tomorrow, next week, next month, the scandals don't stop. This is where the internet comes to witness the meltdowns, the clapbacks, and the secrets Hollywood wishes would stay buried. We've got more bombs than a Marvel multiverse. And you know, I'm dropping them right here first. So turn those notifications on. Because when the next bomb drops, and trust me, you'll want to be here first. This is Star Trek. Signing off with one last warning. In the world of Meech and 50, loyalty is currency, clout is blood, and nobody. And I mean nobody is safe.